Welcome to the Annie Jennings PR Real Stories of Success podcast series. Annie Jennings is the creator of the most powerful radio campaign in the country, where you are booked on high-impact shows in top markets, as well as the national television, print, and online media performance program, where Annie offers guaranteed deliverables. My name is Stacey Amaral Kaufman. I'm the radio director for Annie, and today we are sharing another real story of success to give listeners an inside look into what it's like to work with Annie Jennings PR. We're talking with Susanna Liller, an organizational development consultant, executive coach, and women's workshop leader, and author of You Are a Heroine, a retelling of the hero's journey. Her radio campaign was full of interviews on high-impact 50,000-watt stations in big cities such as Boston, Atlanta, Chicago, Seattle, Minneapolis, San Diego, and Sacramento. Now, Susanna can leverage these interviews and segments in her online marketing and other outreach. So welcome, Susanna.
Thank you, Stacey. It's a pleasure to be with you.
It's a pleasure to be with you, and the radio campaign was a pleasure as well. You mentioned that these interviews showed you that you can hold your own on a bigger stage. Tell us a little bit about what that meant for you.
Right. Well, this was the first time thing for me. I had been on smaller local radio stations here where I live in Maine, but this was way bigger than that, and so it taught me to speak with powerful people who have these big shows, and it was very good training for me, being able to hold my own and share my message. But also, Stacey, you connected me with such good people, and that was helpful too.
Well, we're glad to hear that, and I know that deciding to work with a PR company can be intimidating, initially, in doing research and getting referrals and that sort of thing. What went into your decision to work with Annie? Annie speaks with everybody, individually, personally, that works with our company. What was Annie like on those calls? And again, what was the decision clinching moment for you to work with us?
Right. Well, one thing you need to know is that my publisher, Tara Alamany, who is Emerald Lake Publishing, Emerald Lake Books, she was the one that recommended that I check out Annie. And so I was definitely pleased that Annie was the one to call me, which, usually doesn't happen with such a big firm. But I was able to have a conversation with her on the phone. I got right away that she was genuine, that she was the real deal. She gave me time to think about it. I called her back again. I spoke with her. So I felt that this would be a very good opportunity for me. And also I could tell it was a high quality program. And that's what I wanted. And I wanted the national publicity for my book.
And did you feel initially that Annie understood what you wanted, those goals and your message?
I felt that definitely, and I also felt it from working with you, Stacey, because you and I would check in on the topics and what you would use as sort of the hook to speak to these different radio producers to see if they were interested in me. And I felt that you were definitely plugged into my message. When we were doing this, it was the time of the Kavanaugh hearings. There's a lot about Me Too, the Me Too movement. And then we got into December and how women are so overstressed about the holidays. I mean, you were right there with me, finding the topics that related very much to my book, but also would interest readers. And so I felt you really customized the campaign to me and to my book.
Absolutely. We love to do that when we're working with any client, authors, experts, understanding how you fit into that national conversation. That's our job. That's our specialty. So we love doing that. And you mentioned, Susanna, that this was your first time doing stuff like this on a bigger scale, and we include media training with all
Yes.
of our radio campaigns. How did that help enhance your experience?
Yes. Well, that was interesting because I knew I was going to speak with Jason, and I had it in my head that, well, this would be sort of, a slow rollout kind of training thing. And so we get on the phone, and probably 3 minutes into it, he starts basically interviewing me as one of your radio hosts would do. And I had this thought, okay, if he's going there, I'll go with him. And I did the whole, answered his questions, and we went through it. And at the end, he said, well, okay, I think you're ready, basically telling me that he had decided to just sort of throw me in at the deep end and see how I did. And what was great was that I did fine, and he, gave me a few tips at the end of that. I don't know that he does that for everybody, but what was so good for me is it gave me the confidence that, yes, I can do this. If I can do it in a trial way with him, then I can do it. And I was able to do it.
And Susanna, what would you say, reflecting back on your experience, what you got out of it, and what you're going to be able to do moving forward with it? Of course, leveraging now, you have these media assets, and like you mentioned, the confidence boost that it's given you to possibly do some other things and put yourself out there a little more. What would you say to someone who's thinking of signing up with Annie?
Yeah, there's so much I feel that it's given me. Very, basically, I now am putting these interviews on my website, so I can show people that I've had this kind of exposure and how I speak to it. I'll be taking that and transcribing it, so I have lots of material that I can use as well for my social media. I feel like it's helped me hone my message. Again, Stacy, because you were picking up on the topics that were happening in real time, it showed me that that's something that I can do as well, and that's what I need to do. And showed me my message is very relevant in my book. I guess just thinking on my feet, trusting myself, as you said, that confidence, it gave me a lot. I'm so very glad that I did it.
Well, we're glad that you did it too, Susanna. It was wonderful working with you and getting to learn all about you and, of course, your book. Anyone listening can learn more about Susanna Liller and the book, You Are a Heroine, a retelling of the hero's journey. Check out her website, which is SusannaLiller.com, and you can also connect with her on Twitter at Susanna Liller. Thanks again for sharing your story.
Thank you, Stacy. Thank you for helping me get my message out there, my book out there. It's available on Amazon, so I hope people will also buy it. And I've really enjoyed our partnership.
Yes, us as well. And this podcast is presented by Annie Jennings of the national publicity firm Annie Jennings PR. For more information on how you too can experience national media success and guaranteed deliverables, you can visit AnnieJenningsPR.com. Till next time.